Hi, this is Gary, the Fret Muse here at J&W Music. Come back often. We're going to learn about different things you can have fun with your equipment, different ways to use it, maybe how you work on your guitar, how you play certain passages. A lot of fun stuff you're going to learn here. Hi, this is Gary, the Fret Muse. Today we're going to talk about Hughes Kettner's Meister 36. It's the mainstay in my gigging rig. I also use the Hughes Kettner single 12 60 watt Celestian speaker. It really rocks. And we'll talk about some of the other equipment I use in a standard small club gigging environment. Again, Meister 36 is 36 mean watts of tube power. Beautiful thing is you can run it at 18 watts, you can run it at 5 watts, you can run it at 1 watt, or you can go direct in straight to the board. Most times a tube amp is really designed to be run at lower watts, higher volumes. You get the best sound out of it. I'm going to give a small demonstration here. What I'm going to play here, this is, you can get as loud as you really want it, but you can get it 1 watt right here. It's at 1 watt, and that's not very loud volume. We can go even louder. It's only at 1 watt, okay? We can turn this up. A lot of shows I play at 5 watts. I've only played a couple of shows at 18 watts. I've never, ever had to play a show at 36 watts. It's a lot of tube power if it's voiced correctly with the right speaker setup. I have run this rig with a 412 Marshall, a 1968 cabinet. It will drive those speakers very nice. You don't have to have 120 watt or 100 watt plexi or what have you. They're okay. Most people never use all the wattage that's involved in a tube amp. I want to make sure I mention too, got my Furman power conditioner. You got to have a power conditioner. I don't care where you're at, especially if you're playing in old clubs in downtown. You can't trust the power. You're playing in your best friend's house or whatever, an old club in downtown here or in Dallas or any number of other places you might be playing. Don't trust the power. Okay. At any given time on stage, a guitar player's probably got about $1,000, maybe $2,000, up to $3,000, $4,000 worth of equipment. Sometimes a guitar alone is probably $4,000 or $5,000. Your amp could be a couple of grand worth of equipment, and you run the risk of getting it trashed by dirty power. Dirty power is anything that's not your standard 110, 120 volt. If you get a power bump, it could damage your amp, could trash a tube amp. Brown power is worse than high power, brown power being low power. So if you get into say 96, 97 volts, it's the absolute worst thing can happen for electronics. Eddie Van Halen made his hay with brown power. It's why they call it the brown sound. He used a Variac, a variable AC device, and he intentionally lowered the input voltage on his amps. He trashed a lot of tube heads doing that too. He got a great sound, but at a price. If you're like me, probably don't want to do that. A little higher power is okay. I wouldn't want to do it on a regular basis, hence just plug it into a furman. I mean, if you're rack mountable, or in this case here, I just put a little box on top of my speaker. I mean, you got the lights, you can see your rack mounted stuff, you can turn the lights up or down or what have you, or just turn them off by pushing them in. It's a really good device, but it's a great peace of mind knowing that I can plug in all of my electronics. It's got 8, this is a PLC 8. Got 8 plugs in the back. They even throw an extra one in the front. It's a self-sacrificing device, meaning that if you have a power issue, a power bump, brown power, a lightning strike or something stupid like that, it's going to sacrifice this device right here. This can be repaired a whole lot cheaper than, say, your tube amp or your speakers or what have you, or you, because it's going to isolate you also. It's a good device to have. This Hughes Kettner speaker is a 60 watt Celestian voice speaker. built by Hughes and Kettner, specifically for their what they call lunchbox style amps. I like the lunchbox style amps because I'm not 22 years old anymore. I hate toting around heavy amps and heavy cabinets. This is great for a small club, even a large club. I played an outdoor show with them too. If you're going to run it through the back line, it's not a big deal. You're either going to mic it, or again, with this Hughes and Kettner amp, you can just go direct into the board. Okay, so it's a lot of good information right here. In addition to an awesome overdrive, it's got a really mean, I'll turn this down just a smidge, got a really mean clean channel. You can go for that country sound. And that's 1 watt, that's a little loud, okay? We can even turn it down. For those of you who want to play in the bedroom or what have you, or in your house and not irritate your spouse. Yeah. Back it off, do a little jazz. Really smooth. One of the beautiful things about the Hughes and Kettner Grandmeister 36 though, in the Grandmeister series versus the Tube Meister series, you get all your available effects. Okay, you got your reverb, so you got your delays, you got your chorus, you got your flanger, you get stuff like that built in. You can program it. You've got all these channels. You've got 28 channels, 4 channels each. It's a lot of combinations. Over 100 different channels you can have with a footboard. We'll show you the footboard here in a second. With the footboard, you can just punch them right up on stage. You don't have to come back here and noodle with this. It looks really cool. I mean, I really like the blue lights. Not that I have trouble finding my amp on stage. Okay, a couple of times I have, but it's back in the old days. It's got your standard standby and play switch, so we can isolate it, let the tube stay warm or what have you when you're between sets. The speaker cabinet I think only weighs about 18 pounds. It's really nice. This device right here, the head probably weighs I think about 8 pounds, maybe 9 pounds. It's really a whole lot of help. Another really good feature about the Grandmeister 36 is it's this really cool your boost knob here. So if we go to, so you've got a channel built. Another cool thing is noise gates. Got one of the best noise gates. I actually took my noise gate pedal off of my pedal board because this thing is just so awesome. You can hear the difference in the extra noise that you get with the tube amp. We're under some fluorescent lighting, so it's probably not the best. Again, you got an awesome delay. You get multiple delays you can program into it. Separate volume, separate gain. Of course, you got your 3 EQ, treble, mid, bass, separate reverb. Your resonance and presence. With these resonance and presence knobs, you can get just about any sound you want, from a 60s, 70s grind to album rock in the 80s and 90s to current, 2000 plus. There's really no sound you can't dial in with this Grandmeister 36. Follow me on Facebook at Fret Muse. Subscribe on YouTube at Fret Muse.